Welcome to one and all. Dear students, myself Dr. Vinay Gandal from KMC College Khopoli. Today I am going to talk about review of literature. As we know that research is a continuous process in which researcher need to make their research activity with an efficient manner. Researcher need to follow research methodology for effective research work. So today we are going to learn about review of literature. In this lecture we will discuss about the meaning of review of literature. We will also discuss about purpose of review of literature, various types of literature review, the sources of literature. Also, we have to discuss about how to record literature review, and we have to consider what are the steps of literature review. Also, we have to discuss about what should be the included in literature review to write it, or what is the structure of literature review for writing effective literature review. Okay, so let's see literature review. As you know that literature review is an important task of research activity. Even before starting research, researcher need to take review of past literature. So the question is arise what actually literature review is. So dear students, literature review is a documentation of comprehensive review of the published and unpublished work from the primary as well as secondary sources of data in the areas of specific interest of the researcher. So normally there are two types of data which is made available in front of researcher, that is primary and secondary source of data. So while undertaking a research work or before starting research work, researcher need to take review of whatever documentation, whatever past literature published, either unpublished work is there, to consider all these types of work which have been already investigated by the researcher and which is popularly or specifically related to the interest of the research topic which researcher has taken to the study. Okay, so in short, literature review is the process of taking review of past literature or past studies that has been undertaken by the researchers or other researchers. Okay, it is an extensive survey of available past study which is more relevant to the research study. So normally researcher need to undertake detailed survey of whatever past study is available which is more related to the study topic which is selected by the researcher. It is also called as the process of finding problems which are already investigated by the researcher but which need further studies. Means in literature review, researcher need to find research gap by considering all past investigations made by the other researchers. Okay, so it is the process of getting knowledge about what already found by others and how they investigated the problem. Means while taking literature review of past studies or past researchers by other researchers, it is very necessary for the researcher to understand what type of study which is already undertaken by other or someone and how they investigated the problems. So after taking all types of review which is directly or indirectly related to the present research study, researcher enables to find out research gap, and that enables the researcher to identify the specific research area. So even for selection of research topic, literature review is must. Normally, effective literature review enables the researcher to define a effective research topic. Okay. Now we are going to understand purpose of literature review. So there are many objects, there are many purposes of taking literature review in the entire research process. To gain background knowledge of the research problem is an main purpose of literature review. While taking literature review, researcher can get the background about the research study or whatever research problem he has been defined. So it enables the researcher to get detailed background, detailed knowledge about the problem. To identify related concept, potential relationship between them to set research hypothesis. So setting of hypothesis is an important task of research design or research process. So whenever researcher need to design hypothesis for the current study, he is required to consider many related concept and the potential relationship between different variables which already used by the someone or other researchers in their study. So it is very necessary to identify such concepts and relationship to design hypothesis for the study. Okay. Next point is that it is very important from researchers point of view to identify appropriate research methodology, research design, data collection method, different techniques or statistical techniques which someone used in their research. So this enables the researcher to understand what type of statistical techniques, tools and data collection method which researcher is going to use in his research work. Another point is that to identify sources used by other researchers. So there are many sources to collect data for undertaking research works. So what type of sources someone used in the related research project or research study. So by taking the review of such sources, researcher enables to identify different sources for their present research work. And last one, to identify research gap for further research. So in entire literature review process, it is an important task to find out research gap by taking review of past studies undertaken by someone or other researchers. Okay, so identification of research gap enables the researcher to define research problem. So these are the some points which researchers need to consider for undertaking their effective research work. Okay. Now let's see types of literature. Dear students, normally there are two types of literature. One is critical literature and another is allied literature. Normally, critical literature is related with certain published studies which are directly related to topic under the investigation, and it must be cited by the researcher in his present study. In short, critical literature is normally directly related with the present topic of the researcher. Means while taking literature review, there may be other studies which already has been taken place by someone, but those are directly related to our present study are to be considered as a critical literature. And whatever past studies which are related to our study and if it has been considered by the researcher, that must be cited by the researcher in his current research project. Okay. Another method of or types of literature is allied literature. It means the studies which are already undertaken but related to the investigation more peripheral than central. Means there are some studies which are necessary to consider while taking the reviews but are not directly related with the specific research topic, that should be also considered by the researcher while undertaking their research work as a literature review. So these are the two types of literature which normally researcher need to consider while taking or while writing literature review for their present research work. Okay. Now next point, let's see various sources of literature. Dear students, as you know that writing of literature review is an important task. So before writing the literature, it is very necessary for all of us to understand these two sources of literature. Normally, researcher can undertake review from these sources of literature. First source is primary sources. Okay, it is the source or it is the study or investigation which has been undertaken by the person first time, or it is the information which is written by the person first time. It is also known as first hand data, and normally it is found in published literature like reports, theses, email, conference proceedings, government reports, etc. So whatever original research which has been undertaken by another researcher and which is original and which is investigated first time, that are to be known as primary sources, and that must be considered by the researcher while taking his literature review for his present research work. Okay. Another source is secondary source. Secondary source is the study which is normally prepared by someone other than original research, and normally it is the secondary sources which we can use in literature review when primary sources are not available. So secondary sources which is made available specifically from newspapers, books, journals, internet, website, etc. Okay, so secondary studies or secondary sources are the studies or investigation which are undertaken by the researcher by considering the research of another works. So normally those research studies based on secondary data are normally included in the secondary sources, and that are to be also considered while taking the literature review in the present research work. So researcher has to consider both the sources of literature while taking their review of literature in the study. Okay. Now recording the literature. So after considering all these points with relation to literature review, it is very necessary to understand or to know how to record literature. So normally most suitable method of recording literature in organized manner is a card system. So normally each researcher can use these method of recording literature. So there are two types of cards. Normally first one is a source card. The size of this card is 3 inch into 5 inch, and which consists of bibliographic information about the author or researcher, which called title of the research, name of the researcher, address, web address. So whatever detailed information about the research work which has been carried out by someone in past are to be considered and recorded in the source card. Okay. Another card normally researcher can use while taking the review or recording the literature, that is note card. So note card is bigger than the source card, and the size of note card is 5 inch into 8 inch, and it is normally used to record actual notes. So it is a recording of actual note taking containing the facts about the past research. So whenever researcher need to write some facts, some discussion about the past investigation, then he has to use note card. So normally writing literature review is a another way, and recording the literature is another way. So before writing the literature review, researcher need to record the literature. So for recording the literature, researcher may use these two cards, source card and note card, for making the note with relation to whatever discussion has been made in the past research or investigation. Okay, then we have to consider what are the steps of review of literature. So after considering all these points, it is very necessary to think about some steps which normally researcher need to follow while drafting literature review. So first step is finding and searching. So before undertaking literature review, researcher need to find to some various related studies that has been already investigated or undertaken by someone. Okay, so there are many types of researches are conducted in the specific area. So whatever area which has been decided by the researcher, he has to find out, search the different types of researches which has been already undertaken in past. Okay, so there are where to find or where to search such type of researches. For that, researcher need to consider uh, different search engines, like there is a Google. You can search such researches in researchgate, Google site. Even there are many journals, articles, proceedings. So researcher need to find related research past in the related research undertaken in the past, but those are related with the current research work. Okay. Second step, thematic organization. After finding or searching specific research by undertaken by someone, researcher need to rearrange it in a systematic manner. So researcher need to make some themes of the, or make some specific content of the literature review, and according to the theme selected, he has to organize the collected or searched research topics, research thesis, and research material. Okay. Third step is that more reading about the whatever topic is selected by the researcher. Researcher need to consider or to search more relevant reading, more relevant researches, those have not found by him earlier. In fourth stage, researcher need to write individual sections of the literature collected by the researcher. So depending upon the requirement, researcher need to write different sections for the different types of study, which is organized as per thematic organization system. Okay, once different sections has been created, researcher need to combine all the section, that is to integrate all the sections of literature which has been collected and recorded by the researcher. And last step is to write review of literature. After integrating all the sections, researcher need to write entire literature review in his research report. So these are the 6 steps of literature review which researcher need to consider while taking review of past literature in the study. Okay, now we have to discuss about structure of literature review. So the question is arise, how to write literature review, or in which manner we have to write literature review in the report. So in literature review, or while writing literature review, researcher need to consider these 3 points. First one is introduction, second one is body, and third one is conclusion recommendation. In introduction part, researcher need to write the details about the topic, which gives quick idea about the research work which has been carried out by someone. Okay, so in this section, researcher need to highlight the topic or gives some specific idea about the research topic or research study which has been undertaken by someone in past. Second point, that is body. It is the main theme of literature review. It is the discussion about methodology, sources, analysis, whatever tools and techniques used by the researcher, or whatever analysis or discussion has been made. So that is to be written in the body of literature. And last one is, that is conclusion and recommendation. By considering the introduction and main theme of the literature, researcher need to write what he has drawn from literature regarding that particular studies. Okay, so these are the 3 points which researcher need to consider while writing review of literature. So this is one example. So the example means how to write literature review. So we are taking the example of Upadhyay. So here I have written Upadhyay into bracket 2011 study entitled Growing Responsibilities of Security Agencies. So this sentence indicates the introduction part of literature review. Means from this sentence we can get the idea about the topic of research study and the name of the researcher, even in which year he has been studied. Okay, another sentence is focuses on growing need of security services, responsibilities of security agencies in Maharashtra. So this is the main theme or main body of the literature review. From these sentence, researcher can get idea about whatever discussion has been made or whatever investigation has been made by the researcher in his study. Okay, and last sentence is that the researcher concluded that the responsibility of private security agencies are increasing day by day because of growing need of security services. This sentence indicates that what the researcher has been drawn from these studies. So these are the 3 types of points which researcher need to consider while writing review of literature. That is structure of review. Okay, so these are the some points which researcher need to follow while taking literature review, as well as drafting, writing effective literature review that enables the researcher to make his research study more effective and better. Thank you.